Hi guys, sorry we've been having some technical difficulties here, so we're about 10 minutes into it, but we'll still get to all your questions. Again, Andrea, hey, Brittany, Schmidt here for WBAY. We covered the Burch trial back in February. It was a 2-week trial. We were there every day. Andrea in the morning, I was at night. And you guys could follow along on Facebook, Twitter, everything like that. But let's just get down to it. So Andrea, you've been here since when it happened.
Yeah.
When the unfortunate event happened.
Yeah, Nicole van der Heijden her body was found in May 2016. I was there when that story broke. I remember it was a very big story. There was a lot of confusion about what had happened. And then you came on the case as soon as George Burch was ultimately arrested.
Right. They had like a DNA match. I mean, that's what ultimately, that's what led police to him, because he's not originally from here. And so I was 2 weeks on the job, and then we got that phone call. So I went out to the neighborhood and talked to some people. But you know a little bit more. Like you had an exclusive interview with the people who actually brought him to Wisconsin, because he's not from here.
He's from Virginia. George Burch is from Virginia, and essentially his story is he was going through a rough time. He has these friends, Ed and Linda Jackson. They're from Green Bay. They've been here for many decades. I guess. Yeah, well, they got married afterwards. But anyway, George Burch knew Ed Jackson from upstate New York, where they both used to live. He considered him like a father figure, he says. And Ed basically said, you know, you're going through a hard time. Why don't you come and live with Linda and I in Wisconsin? They said they've been known to take people in who are going through a hard time. And we are... let's see. I'm reading people's comments. It's hard to do two things at once.
Yeah. Are there any questions that we have right now? Otherwise, we'll just keep going.
Yeah.
This starts at 2:30 Eastern time. Yep. So we have about an hour here.
1:30 Central.
Yeah.
We do want to take your questions if you have any questions. We've kind of been just on this story, but anyway, Ed and Linda Jackson now. They had no idea that George Burch had been acquitted of murder in Virginia. They didn't know that he actually did not have the right to leave the state of Virginia. They thought he had a valid driver's license. There was a lot of, they would say, deception that happened when they invited George Burch to come live with them here in Green Bay. They ultimately do have a falling out, and later are basically shocked that they can't believe that he is being charged with the murder of Nicole van der Heijden. All right, people have some questions right here.
Let me see here.
All right, is Doug supposed to speak today? So something interesting that happened earlier this week is that these, I don't know if you saw our coverage on WBAY, 26 pages of letters put into George Burch's folder. And basically these are all people who wrote in and said, please do not give him the option for parole. He gets an automatic life sentence. Mm-hmm. He may or may not get the option for parole. These people say, please, not even if he's 90 years old, do I want him out on the streets. Doug Dietrich, this is a roundabout way to get to your question, he was not in this stack of letters. I don't know if he has plans to talk today. That information is not released to the media. We're going to find out with you guys when you're watching on our live stream. We do want to talk about... Let's talk about the impact of this case, because I think that's something that plays in. A lot of these people in these letters are talking about how this is something that even police say, and Brown County Sheriff's Office, they say, it really hasn't happened here in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, when I talked to some of the neighbors, they were really shocked, I guess, and upset that this could happen. I mean, nobody could think, you talk to a lot of people who are like, never in our backyard, never here, never there. And so it was a really big shock for a lot of people when this did happen and when they actually found someone. I mean, even people in Virginia came for the murder trial just to sit there and watch, because as you said, he was acquitted of a murder charge in Virginia when he was
20 years ago. So
yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. So he was quite young, and so I think members of that person, the victim's family, were here because they wanted to be here and support.
They also wrote letters to the judge and said no parole. I don't know if they'll be there today, but
yeah, one thing important to note. I mean, you did a bunch of stories on it, just about the national attention that this case has gotten,
and that was, I think, because of the technological aspect. Never before had Fitbit been used. You know, Doug Dietrich, Nicole van der Heijden's boyfriend, was wearing a Fitbit that essentially prosecutors said proves he was sleeping at the time this murder took place. We also had George Burch's cell phone tracking him everywhere he went. And I know that the Brown County Sheriff's investigators had to subpoena Google to get all of that information. And, you talked to the jurors after this happened.
I talked to 2 of them.
And you were one of the only ones to get to talk to jurors. I know that, what did they say about what technology played into their decision that they made?
Right, and because we thought technology played such a big role, I mean, they went through so many motions that we covered. Were they going to allow the Fitbit evidence? All that stuff. And so we asked them, we were like, okay, so was it the Fitbit? What did that play a part in it? And the direct answer was no. It was DNA. It was the DNA evidence. They basically were just like, you can't fake DNA. And so that was the thing that ultimately led to his guilty verdict. I want to bring up a question that I saw someone. We will be live streaming it, yes. Oh, shoot.
Let's see.
How do I look to see what there was some other question that was really good, and I want to go back to it.
I guess I can keep talking while you're trying to find that.
Yeah. It will be streamed live.
Some people...
I know what it was.
Okay.
Sorry. Somebody asked, when the judge looks at his sentencing, can they take into effect, can they think about his prior conviction or non-conviction acquittal, I suppose, in Virginia? But I don't think they can, because they weren't even allowed to argue or bring up any of
that was not allowed in court.
So my assumption would be that the judge wouldn't be able to take any of that into consideration, the acquittal that happened 20 years ago, because they weren't able to bring up Burch's past during the trial. So I think anything during the trial he will take into consideration when he goes into his sentencing or whatever he gives, or if he gives him parole. I mean, it's a life sentence, like you said, but about parole. So
I don't necessarily know that we have all the answers for what the judge is thinking and saying, but we do know Judge Sikowski, he sentenced someone to a lengthy prison sentence on Monday, and he spoke for an hour. We are going to know what he's thinking, why he made his decision. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but that's what we know from seeing Judge Sikowski work and work on these sentencings. He's going to tell you exactly why he made his decision.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be quick today. I think that there are a lot of people that would like to talk and to say how they feel and what this has done to their family, their community. It's sad. It's really sad. And so we'll see. I would assume that her sister would talk. I know that her sister took the stand when we were there, giving her testimony and what happened.
If these letters are any indication, we have friends, family, people in the neighborhoods.
How many letters would you say are here?
I believe
more than 2 dozen.
No, there's actually a total of 19 letters, but
close.
Sometimes family members chimed in on the same letter, so that's why I just say 26 pages.
0 or his past convictions. Yeah, I don't think they'll be able to bring up any of his history, his criminal history, outside of Wisconsin or anything.
I don't know that we know that for sure.
Yeah.
I think we're going to wait to see what the judge has to say. What else did we have? Do people have questions? I guess
he's labeled.
This is a good time for us to say how you can follow along with this sentencing that's going to happen at 1:30. You can follow, I think I'm going to be the one live tweeting.
Yes.
Okay, so Andrea Hay News, and then WBAY's Twitter will be retweeting us. And we are going to live stream at WBAY.com. There will be a link at the top of WBAY.com, so you can follow when will it go live? Greg, it will go live as soon as the judge says we can go live.
Yeah, as soon as he sits down, we grade him. And then we'll have obviously live coverage for you 4, 5, 6, and then a wrap up at 10 as well of everything that happens.
This could very well go till 4:30. What case is this? This is the first-degree intentional homicide of Nicole Vanderheiden.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Here's a good question. Is he ever going to be extradited back to Virginia? He was facing a grand larceny charge. Thanks for your question, Christy. He was facing grand larceny in Virginia. I believe it's the theft of movable property is how it's defined. And I do not know if they will bother extraditing him back to Virginia because he gets an automatic life sentence here in Wisconsin. Pat Mayo. Oh my goodness.
Oh, Pat, we'll get you a topical. Don't worry about it.
So, that's a good question. I guess time will tell. What I've heard from a legal expert is it's not likely. It'd be a waste of their money in Virginia, but we don't know.
Well, in one of the letters, I remember you saying that they don't want him back. that was just from a family member.
Though, it was the people from Virginia.
It wasn't anything official.
That was, letters.
Yeah.
So a lot of these people have very strong words in all of these letters. I know some people that took the stand. Her friends, who were the last people to see her alive that night, they really had strong words for George Burch. And they also, I believe his name is Aaron Kalinsky, he goes on for a full page about how much regret he feels that he could not pull Nicole Vanderheiden back into the group. The story goes, it was a night of drinking with friends. She got upset. She kind of walked off.
She left the bar,
and then prosecutors say she got in George Burch's car probably to get a ride home. Yeah. Wish the judge... Okay, we're getting that death sentence question. So let's talk about that. Death sentence is not a thing in Wisconsin. In fact, Wisconsin was one of the first states to abolish it in the 1850s, I believe. Yeah. So there's no option for that. Of course,
today is really just about, will he get parole or not?
Will he get parole or not? And yes, I don't know of anyone who has written or said anything in favor of George Burch.
So Kyle wants to know if those letters are available to the public.
Absolutely. So how do we get our hands on these? As journalists, we know this, but maybe you don't. Basically, you go to the bottom floor of the Brown County Courthouse. You go, if you've ever been on CCAP or Wisconsin Circuit Court, you can click on, only on those computers though, click on the files. These are $1.25 per page, so that's what WBAY had to pay to do that. And I did a story earlier this week though on what the letters say and some of those words that people have.
Yeah. Could he have been federally charged? I don't know the answer to that.
I don't believe that I don't think so.
Because it's not like he went across state lines. It was in Wisconsin, so.
It was.
And he was acquitted of the other one, and that's not even.
Right. I think this person is saying because he fled Virginia.
Right.
But
because he left,
you could clarify. I don't know what charges he would face federally. But today, obviously, it's all about the sentencing. Is he going to get parole? Obviously, Nicole Vanderheiden's family is begging this judge, do not give him parole. Mm-hmm. Any option for it, not even if he's 90.
Yeah, and remember, she leaves 3 young children.
She does.
Behind.
Her youngest was just an infant when, she was taken from this earth, and it's written in the letters, he will never know who his mom is. So.
Yeah, it's tragic.
Oh. Who is the judge? It is Judge John Zakowski. And he actually used to be the DA.
Yeah, he used to be the prosecutor. So, David Lassay is now our district attorney here in Brown County. He used to be the DA, the prosecutor, who at any other point would be prosecuting these big cases like this.
Interestingly enough, the Brown County Sheriff's Office says the last big murder to happen in Brown County, I should say the last big homicide, was the Monfiles case.
Oh, sure.
And actually, Judge Zakowski was the district attorney during that case, so he is familiar with this, that's for sure.
He was the prosecutor.
Has he tried
murder trials before? So
has he been through a murder trial?
And I asked some questions a little bit about this, and take it with a grain of salt. Because
Judge Zakowski?
Yeah, I think she's asking about Judge Zakowski. I don't know if he's ever been the presiding judge over such a big murder trial that's nationally known. Like we talked about, there were 48 Hours here, Dateline,
Daily Beast.
Daily Beast.
We had, national
So I don't
websites.
think he's ever tried over a trial quite that big. You should have seen the setup that there was. We had like 3 or 4 cameras because the national media set it up, and so we had a lot of mics everywhere. Obviously trying to stay out of the way because there's more matters at hand, but trying to do our best to cover it for you.
We were one of the stations that got to have 2 reporters. We were so grateful to have 2 reporters. Yes. Thank you to our managers for allowing that to happen, because this has impacted the community greatly since it's happened, and we know that just from talking to you guys, and we really couldn't have covered it so thoroughly if we didn't have each other. So it's really been a great team effort. I'm so grateful that even today we will both be sitting there in court and we will be working for you guys.
Yeah. And like you said, Andrea will be the one tweeting today. I'll be the one kind of logging everything and going through stuff for later, just so time code technicality stuff.
So we have about 4 minutes before 3 minutes before we were going to cut this off, because we need to head over to the courthouse and get everything set up for the live stream for you guys. If anyone has any more questions,
Please stop.
People are okay.
Yeah, Lori, it's sad. Let's see. We're trying to see all your questions. They pop up and then they disappear.
Someone was talking about the gruesomeness of this murder. That's something we went through in court. That was horrible. The details are online if you're interested. We are not going to discuss the way she was murdered here on this Facebook Live. It's just a little too...
I think people have had to relive this for so long.
Yes.
And hopefully this is an end in sight for a lot of people. So we don't want to relive it either.
Which some details will come out today. So if you are watching, the Green Bay Llama says, get to the courthouse. Okay, well, we're signing off here, Jason Jerry, right now.
We'll take our places.
Some of those details will come out, I'm sure, today. So if you are watching, use discretion. But again, WBAY.com, that's where your live stream is going to be located. Let's give a little disclaimer. We're not responsible if the live stream goes out.
Yeah, and don't call the courthouse either.
The courthouse,
don't call.
They have nothing to do with it. And
it's us.
Well, we have limited control. Anyway,
right.
Be patient. Hang with us.
If it's breaking up and stuff, we know about it. We have staff here that's going to contact us and let us know if it's not working. So just keep that in mind too.
Yes.
If there's a problem, we are aware. We're trying to fix it as fast as we can.
And I'm going to sit there and tweet my little fingers away and make sure that you are updated on this case. So thanks for watching, guys. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And have a great weekend. Bye.